Right, hello, everyone. I'm back for day 8. This is how we say 8 in Chinese with a hand gesture, just one. Yeah, just to see who's online right now. Once again, here to ask any questions. If you are, have any questions about networking, growing your network. And I want to clarify because I realized as I was typing, we're designing the title for this session here. I realized that we often use these terms interchangeably. And I here now have a book I really love from Pat Flynn. I love his work. You see on the cover of the book, he basically crossed out followers, subscribers, even customers, and onto super fans. So when we talk about networks, sometimes we just talk about numbers and people. That's actually not very helpful. The quality of the people in your network really matters. So I would love to know if you have any questions and lesson you've learned, because I would love to learn from you on what you have kind of achieved and what you notice. Maybe what are the myths versus truth about networking. So that's what we're breaking down here today. And first, I want to talk about this whole networking events. I was thinking about it, and the first lesson and realization I had over the years is simply that what we were taught were not necessarily true. I think so much of my 20s and especially my 30s is about unlearning the things we used to think was true. Maybe it was convenient, maybe it was maybe true during our parents or grandparents' ages, and not so true in our generation. So one thing, for instance, to cut to the chase is, dress for success or dress the part or dress to impress. And I remember there was a saying, like, I think in a movie, to say that we spend so much money buying the things we don't need and to impress the people we don't like. So I really think it's a myth when it comes to dress to impress. Let me know in the comments and if you feel the same way. And the second is, I remember in my 20s, and this obviously was way before the pandemic, that, there were a lot of events, especially I remember in my college years and a few years after graduation. I felt the urge and the necessity to say a level up, climb the corporate ladder, which I wasn't really interested in. But because so many people are networking all the time and they go to these fancy parties, house parties, to these events, future events, future marketing events, everybody is, doing something. I felt like I should probably do the same. But in retrospect, I realized by going to a place, not knowing their agenda, who everybody else is, and, what they're doing there, what they want to achieve in that moment. Are they interested in who I am, what I have to say, was really tricky. And it wasn't always a good use of time, frankly. I look back and realize I probably wasted a lot of time going through these events. And welcome back. And I want to display real quick Cardi. I really appreciate you being here. And I love when you guys rewatch some of the previous events. And please know that you're always welcome to ask questions related to today's topic, networking, growing your network, growing your followers, as well as any of the previous events. So definitely, hello, Malcolm. Welcome back from LinkedIn. And yeah, let me know. You guys let me know what you have learned about networking. And it is so helpful for me to hear from you guys. And sometimes, when you're going live, and I love the fact that what I learned in the past week or so is people asking me, or like, how come you're not live on Instagram, the day before? I said, well, I had screen share and I know how to go live. I love the fact that people are reaching back out now because they want to learn more. And I love the feedback because that helps me understand what's been helpful. So again, going back to networking, it just makes me cringe still to realize that I felt the need to go to certain events because everybody else was going, and also going into certain settings. I remember I was invited to go to Back Bay and go into a breakfast, a brunch event. I thought I was going to be really relaxing, everybody mingling, meeting new people, which is always good. And I walked in and everybody was wearing like suits and black dresses and 4-inch heels. I remember to be really out of place because my comfort, my natural state is just be wearing really loose clothing. But guess what? I met another woman who then very quickly appeared on my podcast, who was also dressed exactly like me, not a ton of makeup, very, very casual. We stood out. We became friends. I found out that she had done really crazy, interesting stuff. And so be yourself is my second advice. Please be yourself. Wear the clothes that you're most comfortable with, the bag that's most practical for you if you're a man or a woman. And that part is just essential because we don't want to attract the wrong people. And, we don't want to put on a facade, really. Be you when it comes to networking, whether it's in person events or digital events. All right. Um, so I'm going to answer a quick question here. Can you give an estimate of how much the facts of channel can make with 100,000 views and facts channel? And I would love to learn more about what you mean by a fact channel on YouTube. But in general, I would say that it's really hard, regardless of how you speak of networking, the quality, again, quality over quantity all the time, as much as you can. And it's hard to estimate how much a YouTuber or content creator will make given the size of their audience. Really quickly, I am due to produce another video here on Face World on how much money I made exclusively from my YouTube ads, my YouTube collaborations, and consulting gigs. And I don't know the exact figure just yet, but if I have to guess, I would probably say around $20,000 to $30,000 this past year. And it's unpredictable. A couple of factors for content creators out there and companies interested in growing on YouTube. That number has a lot to do with what's called a CPM. CPM is how much YouTube will pay per 1,000 impressions, 1,000 views, not even impressions. And out of that, there's something called RPM. That's how you, as a content creator, will get paid, which is not a fraction. I would say it's exactly 55% of how much YouTube is getting paid or YouTube is collecting from these advertisers. So you get 55%. So I hope that helps. Again, it's hard to predict. And with 100,000 views, I'll give, that's interesting. One of my most popular videos received just over 300,000 views. I have made from that video, I think probably $6,000 to $7,000. The crazy thing is that video took me 12 minutes to record and very little time to edit. And that's called, I think, 12 tips as a Zoom host or something. And it got picked up after a few months, not immediately. And I had another video, by the way, that only had, I think, less than 100,000 views. But the video wasn't getting, let's say, 1/3 of the revenue compared to the 300K one. It has something to do with the industry you're in, the nature of your video, and how many ads you're able to insert into that video, that sort of thing. So back to today's topic about networking. Once again, if you're here, please say hi. Let me know what you have learned to grow your followers, grow your true fans. I want to say something about social media in general. I think we all know that these days, us, the brands, can really dig vanity metrics, meaning the sheer number you're looking at, the number of followers, even frankly, the number of likes or hearts you have on a comment, you have on a post. The things I would much rather pay attention to, for my brand at least, are comments and shares. I don't really look at much of everything else because it is unreliable. I feel like it's an unreliable narrator almost when you watch a film, because you don't know whether those people are really engaging, and you certainly don't know the value that you're providing with that piece of content. Value is what matters at the end of the day. So that's what I want to say about social media. And in previous episodes of my live stream, I also talked about focusing on the channels that resonates with you. Like for me, I'm just not a Reddit person. I see value. I know why certain people will like it, but it doesn't really work for me. It's not my style. If I don't have a habit of logging in and engaging with people on Reddit, or the type of form, the type of setup they have, and trying to grow on Reddit is going to just be painful and very unnatural for me. All right. So one thing that I wish that everybody, like more people do or consider, even during the, I would say, initial phase of their content creation journey, is collaboration. Now, when you hear collaboration, you may be thinking about popular YouTubers collaborating with other brands and getting paid loads of money, for their work. That's one way that could happen to you once you start to build a following. And but the other is that you can actually collaborate with people at your own level. One example is that I have been live streaming. I've been podcasting since 2014, and I've been live streaming all my content to YouTube as part of my live stream before the 30-day live with people I love, with people I want to learn from. And that is very natural. And because when you go live, not only you're live on your own channel, you're talking about yourself, you're actually sharing other people's work, their books, their latest articles, their podcast, their ways of seeing the world, and that can be extremely helpful. Now, one quick thing, Restream, which is what I currently use, and it's also in the link in the description below. If you click on that, like business essential tools, it's called Restream. You'll click on that link. There's a new feature from Restream. It's called pairing, and that's fascinating. If you go live with another person, that person is able to connect his or her social channels as well and go live on their channels. Immediately, you double your reach. The crazy thing is, I think you can have up to 10 people live streaming all together. Imagine you're live streaming with 2, 3, 4, 5 other people. Then you're able to use Restream's pair feature to go live simultaneously on their platforms. There's one more thing is that they don't even have to be live with you. It literally could be their virtual assistant to come in, log in, and you're able to reach more people. But it's not just about necessarily reach and the numbers and all that. I think there's something really essential in collaborations, and we don't do enough of that. Is that if you're a podcaster, there's something for sure you can learn from another podcaster. If you're a YouTuber, you can be in conversations with another YouTuber. There's so many scenarios, and we spend so much time trying to learn these things on our own. But if you put like-minded people together and actually share your platform, you can definitely see tremendous growth. If nothing else, you're going to be developing long-term relationships and success with a person, and they will remember you, they will appreciate you. Now that leads to something else, which is called, general content creation, guys. I mean, when it comes to networking, the problem with networking, and especially in an in-person event or, even matchmaking, right? When it comes to relationships and friendships, your parents put you in the same room with another person you think that you're really, like your background and interests really resonate and that's going to work, is that it's well, number one is one-on-one. Sometimes it does work. I'm not going to disagree or argue, but if it doesn't work, it is sort of a waste of time. What I've finally learned over the years is the most helpful way of networking is through content creation. Live streaming is a wonderful tool. Same thing. If you're podcasting, if you're creating videos on YouTube, you're creating any forms of content, could be a quote cards, could be you writing and blogging about your life on Instagram. Now, when people stumble upon your content, they don't feel like they're being sold at all. People hate the idea of nobody wants to be sold to. So what I noticed, especially in the past 2 years, being in particular a YouTuber on YouTube, I've received so many brand requests and people are reaching out to me. At that point, they're what I considered already vetted clients. So I'll tell you, and we have a future live stream to go dive into how you engage with brands and you can work with them, start validating them. And what I have noticed is for the first time in my career, guys, in the past 2 years, brands reach out to me and this is what they say. In the subject line, they say, this is a paid collaboration and sponsorship. They say, we have watched not one, but several of your videos on YouTube. We like your style because underline, I'll tell you, they say, you're friendly, you're not very pushy, you sounds like you're really friendly with, technology, you have a way of engaging with people, whatever that may be, fill in the blank. They learn something about you. They tell you they have a budget, something they tell you right away how much of a budget they have, and it's just incredible. They want to work with you and they know you already. To me, receiving those emails basically every week. I don't have a ton of those requests just yet. I have, close to 20,000 followers. And I like that because a lot of them are truly high quality. And by the way, that depends on, that has something to do with your content. If you are like me, I mean, pretty serious content creator, I'm not really doing a lot of blogging, like personal content just yet, even though I really would like to get into the area. But I'm focusing a lot of my tutorials on, live streaming, podcasting, and Zoom type of content because that's closely related to my business. That works really well. So create content the most authentic way possible. Again, we talk about like being yourself. Don't worry about your hair too much, your makeup too much, and just be you. So here's one quick question. When you have the best opportunity to be interesting for brands to work with, when do you have the best? That's a great question. Thank you for that. Which is, you know, I think, I mean, if I were to do it all over again to start my YouTube channel, yes, I'll go with a plan, but I will still start something, even when the plan is imperfect, even when I don't feel I'm fully ready, because I know I never will be. I will start creating content. I'll tell you the reason why I'm able to work with a dozen or so brands. I can give you some names. You might start to hear like a trend here. I wish I could work with Zoom. They haven't invited me yet, which is okay. I work with Restream, which is a live streaming tool. I've worked with Melon, a live streaming tool. I've done videos not with Lula, but on my own. And so there's a lot of tech tutorials. But not only that, I focus the tutorials with my own style, which is trying to make technology as not intimidating as possible. I slow myself down and I ask people to engage. So when the brands come onto my brand, they have a few things going on. They look at my channel to figure out the type of content that I'm already creating. That also dictates the type of audience I have, because what brands don't want to do is speak to a very scattered audience. Okay, Faye's attracting a very, very large group of audience. No, but instead, she's targeting primarily content creators. There's some fitness instructors there who love her, who love her Zoom content. That's it. So brands want a really easy way to engage with you on that. However, I'll say one more thing, which is sometimes for me, the brand deals and sponsorship is a really big topic. For me also is about, be trying to be open-minded too, right? Like I'm not limiting myself to I can only work with X, Y, and Z. One of the brands I worked with, and give them a shout out, called Found.app. So they're actually a personal finance app. Like you may be wondering, what? Like I haven't done literally, I mean, I've done very few personal finance area I'm very passionate about as a content creator. You probably noticed with this live stream series, but I have no credibility. I've not done a lot of content, but realized that, they're new on YouTube, working with YouTube influencers, and they realize that I fall in the category of someone, as a content creator, I need a really nimble way, not a cheap way, a nimble, easy way to manage my money, to realize like I've drove so many miles to this client and did this. So reach out to me. And that was really helpful for me to create relevant content for them. And one more thing before I forget, you do not have to wait until someone, thank you, Beth, I appreciate it. You don't have to wait until a brand reaches out to you. I mean, I wish I knew that. They started reaching out to me when I have 3,000 subscribers. You don't have to wait. You can look at your niche, and it doesn't have to be something that you feel like you have to be an expert in. You can actually pivot to an area that you want to grow into. So let me use a specific example. Charlie, one of the YouTubers that I spoke with, he said at the time he's like making coffee, all these very artistic videos on YouTube. And he said he didn't really receive a lot of brand deals at the time. I said, why don't you proactively reach out to companies like coffee machine companies, and they start sending him coffee mugs. They start sending him these $10,000, $20,000 machines for him to temporarily like borrow, rent, and create videos of. And guess what? The more he does that, he's going to start sending signals to other coffee machine companies, and they're going to try to collaborate with him. You can proactively reach out. And I will say, speaking of networking, who the heck do you reach out to? So real quick on that, what you want to target as a content creator are the marketing departments. General marketing is a good one. Influencer partnership departments is another great one. Go on LinkedIn. Let's say the company is called the X, Y, and Z company. Search on LinkedIn, then filter by people. Then usually they sort by like CEO, CMO. So it's okay to contact CMO if it's like a medium to small size company. It is okay to reach out to people at the director level, even senior manager level, content manager level. So I hope I'm throwing some hints there. Stay organized, guys. You don't need a fancy tool. Use a Google spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet. Keep track of the name of the company, the people you reach out to, their phone number, their email, some ways to get back in touch with them. quick notes to yourself and make sure you follow up. If people don't respond, don't reach out to just one person. Consider two, three, four people and have a way of noting down if that person has responded or not. And you can archive them and start the process again in 2, 3, 4 months. In a previous session, I believe it was yesterday, day 7 of 30 Day Live, I talked about how to hire help. Virtual assistants, people can help you. That is a fantastic task for a virtual assistant. So, um, real quick question from Cardi. Most of the brand emails seem like random hackers. How do you find a genuine one? I know it's super annoying. First, let me clarify how to quickly tell if something in an email is a hacker. First of all, lately I've gotten tons of these emails every single day, unfortunately, about guest blogging. They're not necessarily spam, some of them are. If people are reaching out simply are trying to say, like, I want to just share a blog on your, I'm not charging anything, or in some cases, I'm paying you $100 if you could just insert this link on your blog. I am personally really against that, and that's not something that I do. Also, there's certain types of low quality or not real sponsored, some sponsorship opportunities are sometimes coming from Amazon. They're a small brand. They want you to create a video potentially, but you have to use this coupon to buy some products first. Anything that are in exchange of you having to make a purchase, that is really sketchy. And sometimes there are genuine people to say that we're really small. Could you possibly do a video for free? That is for you to decide. Frankly, I really wouldn't recommend that. Um, I wouldn't recommend you start creating content completely free of charge unless there's a cause or something that you're really passionate about. So I hope that was helpful. What's really genuine are brands, number one, with a real name. They leave their signature there. You can research. Sometimes I always do a Google search on who they are, make sure the company exists, the person exists, and they have done some research. Also, another really trivial one is like when you get an email, whether it's LinkedIn or via email, to say hi, comma, like, really, you didn't bother to learn my name. You're reaching out to the creator directly. That's kind of a hi space. That's very generic. That's an email they will send to millions, thousands of other people, perhaps, right? Also, they didn't study anything about your brand. They spell something wrong. They don't know anything. They have something very generic. If somebody pinpoints, so for instance, lately there's someone sent me an email yesterday to say, I watched this specific video. Thank you for helping me set up my green screen to work with my Zoom. I was able to do this, and I was wondering if. So those are high quality engagements to begin with before you can evaluate whether they could be real good sponsorship opportunities. All right. One question today, another one. Let's see. Let me hide this one. And yeah. So question from Thorsten Kramer. It is more about the type of content or the count of the follower. Yeah. For the brand work, I know we're getting into this like brand sponsorship with brand deals. It is both, because guys, like, even though I have, you have 100, 300 thriving subscribers or true diehard fans, the brands still prefer to see some volume, because imagine these people working for their marketing departments. What they want is that they can go back to their managers and say, hey, I spent $500, $1,000 working on this video with Faye, and as a result, it drove all these leads, dozens of leads back, even though they didn't convert all into like paying customers, but it has to drive leads. So they have to have some sort of proof points. And if you have worked in marketing enough or understand the idea of a funnel, so there's top of funnel, there is bottom of the funnel. So the top of funnel are people who are finding you, say, through social media, or brands are trying to pay YouTubers like myself to drive these leads, right? So that they can have more customers, more eyeballs on their products, on their businesses. And that's all top of funnel. Bottom of the funnel are people who are already paying customers. So they need certain numbers. And the numbers, by the way, will change. For podcasting, back in the day, a lot of the brands are looking at 100,000 downloads, unique downloads per month. I heard that the numbers have since then changed to something a little bit lower. I know that people are getting paid even with 20, 30, 50,000 downloads for their podcast. Now, as a YouTuber, personally, as I mentioned before, I started getting brand deals when I have 3 to 4,000 subscribers. But at the time, I was also growing really fast, like faster than I'm growing now. So the brands actually see the potential. They have something that they can use called Social Blade, and you can go there too. Go to socialblade.com. You can monitor and spy on any channel, mine included, as well as your own channel, YouTube and Twitter, whatever. There's a growth pattern. The numbers are not always dead on point, but it's not accurate, in other words, but it's enough for them to predict, oh, this is a dead channel, they haven't published anything new, oh, their subscriber counts haven't grown at all, in fact they're losing subscribers. So they have some insight knowledge, and also some of these more fancy brands, they have their way of really, like, with, I don't know what the combination of what these expensive tools are, but they have a way of figuring out who you are and how fast you're growing versus how fast you say you're growing. um, so much on networking and outside of networking. And please let me know in the comments below, wherever you are on social media, if you find this helpful, if you want me to get into any of the details that I have touched upon today. But essentially, the takeaway are, be yourself during networking events, during your content creation journey, because you want to attract people who are more likely to stay than just be there to watch a single video and leave. That's okay too, and but in order to have long-term growth and success, you can only be you. I think it's very much like a relationship, right? Like, we all want to dress up and like try to be someone else when you go on these first few dates, but it doesn't help in that those kind of relationships will not last through a long-term relationship, where a marriage is exactly the same in terms of, how I see content creation. So thank you so much, guys. I know, happy Monday. And I'm really thrilled to be able to share the series with you. Once again, leaving me any questions, before, during, or after the show about this particular episode or any of the previous ones, honestly. And this is a way of my own self growth too, because it is really easy to say that I don't want to go live today, where this is not really helpful. But I truly believe that even when I feel like I got nothing to say, I want to hop on, answer even just one question that you guys have, help one person, is a really good feeling. And I also want to say that this whole series dedicated to content creators, I really consider you are, no matter whether you think you are. Like, it's also, to me, it's not measured by how much money you have gotten paid, or have you gotten paid, period. If you are here to create, create. And don't let other people, don't wait for permissions, and just ask for forgiveness later. So tomorrow, we're gonna get into some of the niche topic, including day 9 of 30 tomorrow, how to get started as a podcaster. And I have a lot to say about that. And I'm really, really excited. And the session after that, day 10 of 30 is anything goes. So bring your questions or whatever feels right. We'll talk about it before I close. And today is December 6th. And, my dad had been a really big influence in my life as well, as a content creator, as a prolific calligrapher in China, who passed away exactly 12 years ago today. And, sometimes as I'm creating, I wish like he could see some of this. This is an area where he will be extremely proud of. He was such a storyteller. He was a content creator. He was an artist. And so holding that spirit in. And I know that, earlier today, by the way, I'll end on this, that earlier today I had to like fix the light bulb on my car. And I realized the gentleman was like limping through, like, it was really rainy here today in Boston. And he was going through that. One of my other friends is going through, just went through surgery and really couldn't, do very much for at least a few months. And I realized we're all going through something. And sometimes I feel like I'm standing here talking about content creation, YouTube, getting paid, as if it's like, it's easy, as if it's a given for everybody. I know it's not, but trust me on this. Like, you're still thinking about, contemplating about, oh, should I start my channel? Should I start YouTube? I don't like the way I look. I got nothing to say. Or you're maybe feeling a little stuck as a content creator to say, should I keep going? Is this worth it? Keep going. And you owe it to yourself and to other people who are looking to learn from you. So I appreciate you so much. And I will see you tomorrow at the same time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love you. Bye. All right. Bye.